What's up, guys? It's DarkArmedDuelist, and today doing a Demise, King of Armageddon, Ruin, Queen of Oblivion deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this one for you guys because this deck is an extremely fun deck to play. They can summon out some amazing ritual monsters and board wipe the field. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're playing 3 copies of Demise, Supreme King of Armageddon. This card is an amazing 3-of in the build, but then also a fact that you can ritual summon this card using Cycle of the World. This card's name becomes Demise, King of Armageddon while in the hand or on the field, and when you ritual summon this card on the field, your ritual monsters cannot be destroyed by battle. And if all the monsters used to ritual summon this card were ritual monsters, you don't have to pay life points to activate its effects, but once per turn, you can pay 2,000 life points to destroy as many other cards on the field as possible, if you inflict 200 points of damage to your opponent for each card destroyed that they control. We then play 3 copies of Ruin, Supreme Queen of Oblivion. This card is an amazing 3-of boss monster with a really cool ability that you can also ritual summon this card using Cycle of the World. And this card's name becomes Ruin, Queen of Oblivion while in the hand or on the field. Also, while this ritual summon card is on the field, ritual monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects, protecting yourself from Demise's effect. This card also has the ability if all the monsters used to ritual summon this card were ritual monsters, it can make a second attack during each battle phase, and if this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can actually inflict damage to your opponent equal to that destroyed monster's original attack points, which is a pretty cool effect. We then play 2 copies of the original Demise, King of Armageddon. This card is great as a 2-of in the build, and an awesome card to help you board wipe the field, as you can actually pay 2,000 life points to destroy all cards on the field except this card, which is a crazy powerful effect. We play a single copy of Miracle Raven. Miracle Raven is great as a 1-of in the build, just such a cool card to be able to play, as this card has the ability that once per turn during your main phase, you can actually ritual summon this card by tributing monsters from your hand or field whose total level equal or exceed 1, meaning you can ritual summon it by its own effect. This card also has the ability that you can ritual summon this card with Miracle Raven, and it must be ritual summoned to your side of the field. And this ritual summon card is unaffected by your opponent's activated effects, and if you're going to ritual summon exactly 1 ritual monster with a card effect that requires the use of a monster, this card can be used as the entire tribute, meaning it's very easy to summon out your copy of Demise or Ruin. This card also has the ability, if this card is tributed for ritual summon, you can add a ritual monster from your deck to your hand, searching an additional ritual monster, which is so cool to search out either your copy of Ruin or Demise. We then play 3 copies of Yugioh of the Trillion Hands. This card is an amazing normal summon in the deck, because if this card is summoned, you get to add a ritual monster and a ritual spell from your deck to your hand, which is a great ability to search out the exact cards you need to summon out Ruin or Demise. We then play 3 copies of Zaborg the Mega Monarch. Zaborg is absolutely broken in this deck. This card is a broken ability that you can tribute summon this card by tributing 1 tribute summon monster. And if this card is tribute summon, you can actually target a monster on the field and destroy it, which you're always targeting itself. Then, if it was a light monster, both players send as many cards as possible from their X deck to the graveyard, but not more than the original level or rank of the monster destroyed, which is always going to be level 8 because you're targeting itself. This card also has the ability, if this card was tribute summoned by tributing a light monster, which it always will be, you add the ability that you choose the cards that your opponent sends to the graveyard, which is a broken ability for this card to have, and it's so cool to be able to play in this deck to instantly just deal with your opponent's X deck and get a bunch of cards into the graveyard like Herald of the Arclight, so we can get a triple search and cards like Elder Emptiness to pop additional cards on the field. If you summon out this card to your side of the field and its effect goes off, you're just basically winning the game because you're getting so much card advantage. We then play 3 copies of Talismandra. Talents Manager is great in this build, and all of your incantations share a common effect that you either reveal a ritual monster or a ritual spell in your hand to special summon them out to your side of the field, then special summon an additional copy of an incantation monster from your deck to your side of the field. Then you get a really cool unique effect. With this card having the ability to reveal a ritual monster to special summon this card from your hand, and if this card is special summoned to your side of the field, you get to add a ritual monster from your deck to your hand. And while you control an incantation on your side of the field, you cannot special summon the X deck, but it makes it super easy to get monsters on your side of the field, so you can actually tribute summon out your copy of Choju or your copy of Zaborg to your side of the field. We then play 3 copies of Candle. Candle is amazing in this build as well because this card has the ability to reveal a spell card that's a ritual spell in your hand to special summon both this card and another incantation monster from the deck. And this card is special summoned by the effect of an incantation monster. You get to add a ritual spell from your deck to your hand. We then play 2 copies of Bookstone. Bookstone is great, so let's reveal a ritual spell in your hand to special summon this card and another incantation monster from the deck. And then, if this card is special summoned by the effect of an incantation monster, you get to target a ritual spell in the graveyard and add it to your hand. We then play 2 copies of Pencil Plume. Pencil Plume is great to be able to play because this card has the ability, if this card is special summoned from the deck, you get to target a ritual monster in the graveyard and add it back to your hand, which is a great ability. And to special summon this card from your hand, you get to actually reveal a ritual monster. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with 3 copies of End of the World. End of the World is an amazing ritual spell that we use to summon out our copy of Ruin and Demise. We made 3 copies of Cycle of the World. Cycle of the World is an amazing 3 of as well, and this card helps out a lot in the deck, as this card has the ability, this card can be used to ritual summon either your copy of Ruin or Demise, and you must also tribute monsters from your field whose total levels equal or exceed the level of the ritual monster you're trying to ritual summon. And during your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can actually shuffle this card in the deck and then add an End of the World from your deck to your hand. Then you can add a Ruin or a Demise from your graveyard to your hand, which is a really cool ability. We then play 3 copies of Pre-Preparation of Rites. Pre-Prep is really cool as a 3 of in the build to instantly get to the exact card that you need. It's just such a powerful card in this deck. We then play 3 copies of Ultimate Slayer. Ultimate Slayer is really cool to be able to play in the build to basically just out anything that your copy of your Demise cannot destroy. And this card is just super helpful to deal with basically one of monsters on the field, also getting a monster from our X deck into the graveyard. Because this card is built, your opponent cannot activate monster effects in response to this card's activation. Let you send a monster from your X deck to the graveyard to target a monster your opponent controls with the same card type, Fusion, Synchro, Exy, Pendulum, or Link, and shuffle it into the deck, helping you deal with a card on the field. We then also play 3 copies of Forbidden Droplets. Droplets is really powerful as a 3 of in the build to basically just negate your opponent's monster effects, and also basically use this card to have the attack points of your opponent's monster so we can swing in for game. If your card basically just deals with your opponent's field and just helps you destroy their board using your copy of Demise. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start with a single copy of Garrigus. Garrigus is really good as a 1-of in the build because this card just destroys cards like crazy and it's a walking negate. It's very easy to summon the deck because it just takes 2 level 10 monsters to make this card, which your copy of your Supreme Ruin and Supreme Demise are. We made a single copy of Gustav Max. Gustav Max is great just to do 2,000 points of burn damage to your opponent, and we can also use this card in the deck to summon a copy of Juggernaut Leap. Juggernaut Leap is really good to be able to play in the build because you can actually XZ summon this card on top of your copy of Gustav Max, and it's a really cool ability. At once per turn, you can detach your material in this card and it gains 2,000 attack and defense points, pushing this card to 6 1000. This card also has the ability for the rest turn, you can only declare attack with this card, which is pretty cool that you can actually basically summon out your copy Demise, board wipe the field, do a little bit of burn damage, then actually summon in your copy of your basically your Gustav Max, do 2000 more points of damage, and then make your copy of Juggernaut leave, and it comes out at basically 6000 to finish off the game. We only have a single copy of Aggregator. Aggregator is great as an Ultimate Slayer target, and just a really cool card to be able to send to the graveyard because it can actually use this card as a negate, which is really cool. We only have a single copy of Typhon. Typhon's awesome as a 1-of in the build to basically use this card as a skill drain for 3000 attack with monsters and a bounce. We made 2 copies of Elder Emptiness. If this card does touch the graveyard, it has a really cool ability to pop cards on the field. Play a single copy of Fossil Warrior. Fossil Warrior Skull Knight is great to play in this deck as a 1-of, because this card has a great ability. You can banish this card from the graveyard and then target one monster on the field and destroy it, which is a really cool effect to actually send this card to the graveyard using your copy of Zaborg or even as an Ultimate Slayer target. We made a single copy of Garua. Garua is great to send to the graveyard because if you do send this card to the graveyard, you get to draw a card. We made 3 copies of Herald of the Arclight. This card is probably the most important card in the entire Axe Shack because if this card does touch the graveyard, you get to add a ritual monster or a ritual spell from your deck to your hand, which is a great effect to be able to use to instantly use this card to grab the exact card that you need. It's just super helpful in this build, especially when you use the effect as a Zaborg and you get to send all 3 of these to the graveyard, so you get a triple search of your copy of Zaborg, which is insane to be able to do. We made a single copy of Wind Pegasus. Wind Pegasus is great in the deck. You can banish a card in the graveyard, target a card your opponent controls, and shuffle it into the deck. Play a single copy of the Tri-Brigade Arms. Tri-Brigade Arms is great, so we can actually send our copy of Grua to the graveyard in case we have to out and link monster using our copy of our Ultimate Slayer. And play a single copy of Frigid. Frigid is also really good as an Ultimate Slayer target because if this card does touch the graveyard, you get to draw a card and then place a card from your hand on the bottom of the deck, which is a really cool ability. And again, about this Axe Shack, you don't have to summon all these cards out to your side of the field. As a matter of fact, the only card you really do summon is your copy of Verrugus and basically your copy of your Gustav Max, Juggernaut Lieb, and your copy of Typhon. Those are really the only cards that you summon in the entire Axe Shack. You don't summon out your copy of Aggregator or any of the other cards. They're basically Ultimate Slayer targets or copies of cards to be able to send to the graveyard using Zaborg, so you can basically just get a bunch of searches and pop the board, which is crazy, or spin cards off the field. You get to send basically 8 of these cards to the graveyard at once, which is crazy when you send cards like Herald of the Arclight, your copy of Elder Emptiness, your copy of Grua to draw a card, pop 2, draw a card, add 3, spin a card, and also pop another card just in case you want to, or even negate a card, which is crazy, or draw a card and put a card back, which is absolutely insane about this extra deck. So, that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played a Demise Ruin deck, you should definitely give this deck a try because it's actually very budget to put together, which is really nice, but it's super fun to be able to play such a nostalgic boss monster in the form of Demise and Ruin. So, that's it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. So, hey, guys.